You're sitting in a room and someone has just stopped talking, 3 seconds pass, then 5. Your chest tightens slightly and your mind starts scrambling for something to say. Nothing dangerous is happening. No threat, no pain, no alarm, just the absence of sound. And somehow your brain treats that absence like a 5 alarm emergency. Why would nothing feel like something is wrong? To understand this, you need to go back about 200,000 years. You're a human on the East African plains. The world around you is never quiet. Insects buzz, birds call, wind moves through the grass in long waves. That sound is information. It tells you the environment is stable and alive. It means nothing nearby has scared everything else into hiding. Now imagine all of that sound vanishes at once. Every bird stops mid-call. The insects go mute. Even the wind seems to hold its breath. That silence is not peaceful. That silence means a predator is close. Your brain learned this equation long before language existed. Sound equals safety. Silence equals danger. Today, you carry that same equation into a conference room. Someone pauses during a presentation and you feel your shoulders creep toward your ears. There's no lion behind the whiteboard, but your nervous system doesn't know that. The humans who got nervous in silence survived more often. They flinched, they moved, they lived another day. The ones who sat calmly in the quiet didn't pass on their genes as often. Evolution didn't select for people who were comfortable with nothing happening. It selected for the anxious ones. So here you are, descended from thousands of generations of people who couldn't relax. Here's what's actually going on inside your head when the room goes quiet. Your auditory cortex doesn't just process sound, it actively monitors for the absence of sound. Think of it like a smoke detector that doesn't just wait for smoke, it also goes off when it notices the air is too clean. That's your brain in silence. Researchers at University College London found something remarkable about this. When they played subjects a sequence of tones followed by silence, the silence itself triggered a neural response, not just the absence of a response, an active, measurable event in the brain. Your brain literally hears silence as a thing. It's not nothing to your neurons. It's a signal that something has changed, and change means pay attention. This is where your amygdala gets involved. The amygdala is your brain's threat assessment center. When sound disappears suddenly, the amygdala starts asking questions. Is something wrong? Should we run? It sends a tiny jolt of cortisol into your bloodstream just in case, not a full stress response. More like your body whispering, stay sharp. And then something even stranger happens. Without external sound to process, your brain turns inward. The default mode network activates. This is the network responsible for self-reflection, memory, and wandering thought. In silence, your brain doesn't rest. It starts replaying old conversations, old embarrassments, old fears. Silence doesn't empty your mind. It floods it. A 2014 study at the University of Virginia demonstrated this with disturbing clarity. Participants were left alone in a quiet room for 15 minutes with nothing to do. They had one option available to them, a button that would deliver a mild electric shock. 67% of men and 25% of women chose to shock themselves rather than sit in silence. They preferred physical pain to the experience of being alone with their thoughts. That's not weakness. That's a brain doing exactly what evolution designed it to do. Anything but nothing. So here you are in the modern world, surrounded by more noise than any human has ever experienced, and you still can't handle the quiet. You walk into your apartment and immediately turn on the TV, not to watch anything, just to fill the room with voices. You put on a podcast while you cook, while you clean, while you shower. You play music in the car, even on a 3-minute drive. You scroll your phone in elevators, in waiting rooms, at red lights. Not because the content is urgent, because the alternative is 30 seconds with your own mind. And your mind, left unstimulated, will immediately start scanning for threats that don't exist. This is the paradox. We've eliminated almost every external threat silence once warned us about, but we never updated the software. Your threat detection system now turns on you in the quiet. It scans your memories instead of the tree line. It finds old regrets instead of predators, and the cortisol still flows. The whole noise economy runs on this glitch. Streaming services, social media, 24-hour news, they all exist because your brain panics in the quiet. They're not selling you entertainment, they're selling you relief from your own neurology. And it works temporarily. The moment you feel the silence, the cortisol drops, the shoulders loosen, but you haven't solved anything. You've just postponed the confrontation. Here's the part that nobody talks about. Silence isn't actually dangerous. Your brain just hasn't received that memo yet. And in some ways, it never will. This circuitry is too old, too deep, too fundamental to who we are. But knowing it changes the experience. The next time you feel that itch to fill the room with sound, you can pause. You can recognize that itch for what it is. Not a real warning, a ghost signal from a world that no longer exists. Your ancestors needed to fear the quiet because the quiet could kill them. You don't live in that world anymore. But you're still running their software. And maybe the bravest thing a modern human can do isn't fight or flee. It's just sit there in the quiet and let nothing happen. That discomfort you feel right now in this pause, that's 200,000 years of survival instinct with nowhere left to go. Your brain was built to fear the quiet. Now you know why it's lying.